Hi, I'm Sean Laser,
And I'm Ann Lunkins.
and we are going to have a talk today about the personality characteristics. This is a piece of the Real Essentials curriculum in partnership with Live the Life of South Florida. And so we're going to get right into four different kinds of people. Now, and I personally like this because I relate to one of the animals we're about to talk about. And I remember when I first went through this, I thought, oh, dude, that's me. Like, how did they know so much about me without
Right.
whoever made this test or whatever? And you'll actually see in the show notes that there is a test that you can take to find out which of these animals you are. And if you're anything like me, you'll be thrilled to know that there are other people like you. What do you think about the test?
Well, I like the test because a lot of times when you're engaging, whether it's in school or with your family, your siblings, especially, or friends, and sometimes they may act a certain way and you may get offended by it or you take something personal, but really it's just how their personality is. And so that's the good thing about knowing all
Mm,
four types of personality because now I know, like, oh, you're not just being rude to me, like that's something within your personality. Or and then if someone who likes the rules and someone doesn't, it's like,
mm.
why are you a rule breaker? And it's like, oh, this is part of my personality. I'm not trying to be rebellious. And so it's just fun to find these things out and then have an opportunity to share it with your friends and family.
Yeah, love that. All right, we're gonna get right into it. So our first animal is the lion, and well, I think our lion makes noise.
Yes.
What do I have to do? I have to tickle him?
No.
What do I tickle? Oh, okay. That's not so loud. All right.
Yeah. Although he probably does do it
Yeah,
louder.
yeah, a real lion would roar louder than this if you didn't know. But this isn't National Geographic. We're just talking about personalities. So our lion here, what he is in personality is like a leader. So your lions typically are these sort of outgoing. They can often be extroverts, and a purebred lion is almost always going to want to take charge. Some things lions don't usually like. So you'll know this if you're a lion. You'll feel this when I say it. You don't want to be questioned. It's just like, no, hey, man, we're going to McDonald's. All right, no talk about this Burger King. Like, this is where we're going, right? If that's you, not the McDonald's part, just like the in charge part, there's some good chance you're a lion. And I've often worked with and worked for lions, and I'll tell you, man, lions get stuff done.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. And you want a lion on your team, like in a project.
Oh, yes.
You probably want a little lion and one of your parents to, move the family along. Maybe you don't want a lion sibling because they'll be bossy. But I do know with lions that
or
they're
friend.
right. Yeah, a lion friend could overtake you a little bit. One thing about lions to know is that friend that does overpower you. Sometimes they don't know they're doing it, and lions can leave a lot of people hurting in their wake because they just know the right thing to do and they're just at it, and they don't think about other people who might need extra support along the way or who don't process things as quickly. So lions usually should partner with other types of animals just to as a good balance.
Right.
What are your thoughts on the lion?
And the lion, a lot of times they don't like when you elaborate and small talk and beat around the bush.
Yes.
They're the ones that's like,
Get to the
tell me
point,
how it
yeah.
is and let's move forward. And
Right.
so sometimes that can be a little intimidating or it can
Lions
be
are intimidating? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
They can be because they're just like out there and,
Right.
but it's also a great characteristic to have a little bit of lion in you.
Yeah.
And one thing that you'll see at the end of this is it's good to be balanced with all four.
Mm.
So, having a little bit of lion, even though it may not be your dominant one, it's still a good thing.
Yeah, no, that's true. Almost nobody is fully one thing, and you'll know that if you take the test. So if you haven't done that yet, pause the video, go ahead and take that test, take a look at the worksheet and the notes. You're going to want to know what you are for any of this to make any sense. So,
and they love to change things.
Yes.
And that's important, especially when we go to the next one.
Yeah. All right, well, you tell us what's next.
And the next one is the golden retriever. The golden retriever is one that's very loyal. These are your loyal friends. These are the ones that, will stick by you. They're the ones that when you break up with a boyfriend or, they're going to come over with the ice cream and sit with you and watch those movies together with you. And they do have a need to please others. And so this is a good quality, but also it can be, a bad one when you're trying to seek approval, especially from a lion. Because the
Mm,
lions aren't going to be compassionate in that. And so you could get hurt being a golden retriever in that regard.
okay.
They do not like change. Change is difficult. So
Mm,
when we have to, move from doing one way of schooling to another way of schooling, and the teacher changes your desk and you're freaked out about it, that's normal for someone who's a golden retriever.
mm.
You'll end up going okay with it, but at first that shock is more than you can handle.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
and they're also in tandem with that, they're really indecisive, right?
yes,
That's
yes,
my
it's hard for
experience.
them to
Yeah.
make final decisions. So they would probably drive a lion crazy.
I'm married to a golden, so I know that my wife is extremely loyal. But yeah, as far as making a decision about what to eat for
Mm-hmm.
breakfast or where to go or what to do with the day, it's like it takes time. So
And I'm a golden, so I can agree with that.
yeah, you get it. All right. So should we
And
go
they're
on
great
to
listeners, so
Oh,
you
that's
need
good.
someone to listen to find that golden retriever. It'd be great if one of your parents was a golden retriever.
Should we go on to the next one?
Yes.
Oh, you made a decision. That was pretty good for a goal. I'm just kidding.
Hey,
You guys can make decisions.
we can.
But what we can't do is make decisions because you see, I'm an otter, and our little guy here doesn't make any noise, I guess. But our otters, we're fun-loving people. It's tempting to think that we want to mostly make people have a good time, but it's actually a little more shallow than that. And I'll speak up against my own type. It's sometimes we just want to make sure other people are smiling. Like we're not even sure we care if they're happy. We just want to make sure that other people are smiling. You want an otter at your party.
Yes.
You want an otter in your workplace. You want an otter in your family because they'll make things fun and funny and bring the laughter. But they're not always thinking for sure about the deepest parts of you. They're often just trying to make sure things are okay and running smoothly. Otters are really disrupted, myself included, really disrupted by people having a bad day. Like it pauses an otter and it's just like they can't function sometimes. We can't function, and so I'll catch myself if I'm with someone who's not having a good time of things. It's almost like my day stops until I can get them happy or figure out what's going on. So an otter will drive a lion crazy because the lion's trying to get stuff done, but the otter is a little soft-sided, not really trying to get stuff done.
Just trying to have fun.
More working with people, right? Where the lion is what we call a hard-sided personality type, which is more like is a more task-driven, and the otter is more people-driven. And then you can guess there that the golden we just talked about, he's a little more people-driven. Anything else about the otter? Anything I should know about me?
Yes, that you know everybody's first name.
Yeah.
Like that's the one good thing is that they can have 25 best friends, whereas the golden retriever probably has about 10 really good friends. Because of just being so loyal. And then the otter is like, I just want to know everybody. I want to be friends with everybody. I want everybody included. And so that's a good thing. And they're optimistic. When you're having a bad day, you do want to be around an otter because they're optimistic. They see the glass full. They don't see it half empty. So
that's good. Yeah, I think that's true. All right, what do you got there?
And then the last one, the beaver.
Oh.
And this one is the one who likes directions. And so the otter will not read directions. So if you put them on building something together, it probably would end in frustration and a fight.
Yeah, disaster.
So the beaver, yes, they actually read it, the instructions. They alphabetically file things. They're your great admins that you need. They're always like critical thinking wise, thinking about everything on a whole and thinking deeper in it. So again, the lion wouldn't want you to have that meeting where you're sharing all these ideas. They just want the bottom line. So you may want to have a beaver share with a golden retriever and then give the fine points to the lion.
That's big. My mom growing up is a beaver, and I always thought what she wanted was to get things done, which is partly true. The beaver wants to get stuff done and do it well and properly. In fact, she'd say, if you're going to do anything at all, do it right. And the question always was, well, then what's the right way? And it turns out the right way was always her way, which who knew what that was, right? But so that was frustrating. But I realized that for all this sort of hard-sided part of her, which seemed kind of like we couldn't do anything right. As a beaver, she actually really wanted to be understood. And that's something you wouldn't catch off a beaver. Immediately,
Right.
you would think, oh, you're just like a task-oriented, like you don't care about people. But that's like the biggest misunderstanding you could make with a person who is like the beaver, that's administrative. They actually have deep needs and they want to be understood.
Right.
They come across like they want everything to be perfect, but it's not what they ultimately want.
Right. And their thing is they're driven with a need to, they have deep feelings for those they love.
Yeah.
That's why they want you to do things right, because they're thinking, if you do things right, they know the right way because they've like gone through and done all the research and know what's right because that's their thing. They research. And so you think it's like, oh gosh, this is controlling. But really they're like, I love you so much that I know the right thing because I researched it for you.
Wow, that's interesting. Oh, that would have been helpful to know when I was at home. So, all right, so we're gonna do a little activity. You
Okay,
cool with this?
yeah.
All right, so I didn't tell you ahead of
The
time.
only thing that we didn't do is like tell them. Like I think it's good to tell them the motto for each one of them and kind of like.
Right. You'll see this in your worksheet. So you can go to each animal and go to your animal. And the otter's key phrase, I know this one because it's me, is lighten up. All right. And so if you hear someone say that, you're like, you're a stinking otter, aren't you? And
the golden retriever is let's keep things the way they are. We don't have to change everything.
Yep. Our friend who's the lion just wants to win. Right. So if you've got somebody in your circle that just can't lose, they've got to be in charge, they've got to win the game, they are likely a lion.
Yeah. And just like Sean said about his mom, their motto is let's do it right.
There you go. All right. So here's how the game's going to work.
All right.
We've got our 4 animals. All right. So why don't you just pick an animal? What's your favorite? This one's fat and cute. All right. I'm going to get this one. All right. So you're a golden. I'm a beaver right now. And we're going to play out a negative relationship. All right. A little electron here. So it's a negative relationship. And let's see what our relationship is. Go ahead and pull out whatever it says is how we're connected.
Okay. Oh, best friend.
Okay, so I'm your beaver best friend.
Okay. And I'm the golden retriever best friend of yours.
Okay, so what's a negative interaction we're likely to encounter?
Well,
I'm thinking.
Well, something that's critical of the golden retriever, because when you share something that's critical, you may be thinking you're doing it because you care about me, but as a golden retriever, I'm going to take it personal. I'm going to think like you think something's wrong with me.
Okay.
And that would be, you came up with all this research on a certain thing that we want to do, and then you want to change our plans.
Okay.
Like right then and there.
Okay.
And so those would be negative.
Got it. So I'm trying to perfect things, and you're just like, but I love you, and I just want to like help, and I'm sorry, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I can see that. Okay. How about this? How about let's do a positive interaction between. We'll pick another animal.
How about the lion?
I'll be myself. I'll be an otter.
All right. I'll be the lion.
Let me pick. Here we go. Okay. So I'm your brother.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I've known you for 9 years. You're like a brother.
All right. That's nice. So as an otter, that makes me feel good. I'm happy. What's a positive interaction between a lion and an otter? Well, I think for sure the lion a lot of times needs help leading because they're so like forward thinking. They know what they want to do. But a lot of people, and I see this in our teams because we work together, sometimes people need encouragement, and the otter is going to be really good for that. So the lion's like, we're going to take that hill. And then the otter goes, yeah, guys, we're going to have a great time doing it. Exactly. And so the otter brings that energy, that vibe, that thing that you can't get out of a lion.
Right.
So does that seem right?
Yeah. And like with that one, though, with a brother and sister situation, if I'm the lion, I may say to you, hey, Sean, when you want to do that one, like you wanted to play soccer and, hey, you just got to like get out there and do it and, like cheer you on, but do it in a way like forcing you to do those hard things.
Right. Got it.
You got to win.
Yeah. So you'd be pushing for the win, and I would be like the dad out there in the field that's like, no, just have fun. Like, just like smile. Okay.
Yep.
I see that. All right, cool. Yeah. So that's pretty simple. You can do this yourself, playing out different scenarios with someone else who understands these concepts. I would actually say the best thing to do with this is to now go to your brother, sister, best friend, parent, and take a long stare at them and go, I think I know what you are, right? and then at some point clarify what you mean, because
Yeah.
that might creep them out. But you're basically wanting to know who they are, because then what happens the next time the lion parent is telling you what to do, you won't take it like offensively. You'll
Right.
think, oh, okay, they're just a lion trying to get us to go somewhere.
Or if like you're trying to explain your day and you have a lion parent and they're like not listening because they've zoned out, it's
Right.
not because they don't care about what you're saying.
Right.
It's because they want you just to get to the point.
Right. So a lion boyfriend might have a hard time sitting down and listening, not
Right.
fixing it, right? But then we know now that it's a personality type. So it's not
Right.
exactly that they're wrong, it's just they're different.
Right.
And so then you work with that, right? You still
Yeah.
negotiate for yourself. You think properly about your needs, because now that you know your animal, you might know your needs. And then you figure out how to make it work. So there's a little
Yeah.
compromise and conversation to be had, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Some of those characteristic traits on all of these that may be kind of the negative, what you do is you work on those and you get to see what the other personalities need. And in that, you try to, soften if you're a hard sided personality. And if you're soft sided, part of you needs to grow and become more hard sided. So, just to get that balance. So I would encourage you, one, to find out what each of your family members and friends are, and then see what areas you want to just grow in.
It's really good. All right, guys. Well, it was good working with you today. Hopefully now
Yeah.
you know what animal you are, and we'll be with you next time when we talk about another social and emotional topic. Thanks for your time. Bye.
Bye.